Autosuggestion, directing the mind. Human beings cannot control every circumstance life presents, but they can control what their minds choose to focus on each day. Napoleon Hill referred to this process as autosuggestion, the deliberate act of planting thoughts, goals, and beliefs into the subconscious mind. Rather than waiting for motivation to appear, autosuggestion is about consciously shaping the way we think, so that our actions consistently move us toward the life we want to create. Many people misunderstand this concept. They believe autosuggestion simply means standing in front of a mirror and repeating phrases such as, "I will be rich" or "I will be successful." In reality, words alone have little power if they are not supported by purposeful action. Repeating positive statements without changing one's behavior is no different from reading a map without ever beginning the journey. Modern psychology offers a practical explanation for why autosuggestion can be effective. Every day, the human brain processes millions of pieces of information, yet it consciously notices only a tiny fraction of them. The brain naturally filters information and gives priority to what it considers important. When you repeatedly remind yourself of a specific goal, your mind gradually begins to recognize opportunities, resources, and solutions related to that goal that you might otherwise overlook. Imagine that you have just decided to buy a white car. Before making that decision, you probably paid little attention to white cars on the road, yet within a few days, they seem to appear everywhere. The number of white cars has not suddenly increased. Rather, your brain has simply adjusted its priorities. It now notices something that previously seemed insignificant. Goals work in much the same way. Once your mind is focused on a destination, it naturally becomes more sensitive to anything that may help you reach it. Consider the example of a salesperson who sets a goal of generating 5 billion Vietnamese dong in annual sales. Every morning, before starting work, he reviews his target, visualizes the satisfaction of achieving it, and asks himself a simple but powerful question: what can I do today to move one step closer to this goal? That single question influences every decision he makes throughout the day. He reaches out to more potential customers, studies negotiation techniques, improves his communication skills, and experiments with new sales strategies. None of these actions guarantee immediate success, but together they dramatically increase the probability of achieving his objective. Now compare him with another salesperson who works the same 8-hour schedule but has no clear direction. He completes the tasks assigned to him, waits for opportunities instead of creating them, and ends each day much the same way he began it. After a year, the difference between the two individuals is striking. It is not because one was luckier than the other. The difference lies in the direction of their attention. One mind constantly searched for progress, the other simply reacted to circumstances. Autosuggestion can also be observed in many areas of everyday life. A university student determined to earn a scholarship naturally becomes more aware of academic competitions, research opportunities, and networking events. An entrepreneur committed to building a successful business starts noticing market trends, customer frustrations, and unmet needs that others ignore. A person focused on improving physical health begins paying closer attention to nutritional information, exercise habits, and lifestyle choices. The opportunities may have existed all along, but the focused mind is far more likely to recognize them. However, it is important to understand the limits of autosuggestion. It is not a magical law that guarantees success. Simply imagining wealth does not create wealth, just as imagining physical fitness does not build muscle. Visualization without effort is wishful thinking. Yet visualization combined with consistent action becomes a powerful tool for maintaining focus, resilience, and motivation during difficult times. In many ways, autosuggestion serves as the compass rather than the engine. The engine is your effort, your discipline, and your willingness to learn. The compass simply ensures that your effort is directed toward the destination you truly want. Without a clear direction, even tremendous effort can be wasted. But when the mind and actions move toward the same objective day after day, progress becomes not only possible but increasingly likely. Ultimately, success begins long before visible results appear. It begins with the thoughts we repeatedly choose to cultivate. By intentionally directing our attention toward meaningful goals, we influence the decisions we make, the habits we develop, and the opportunities we recognize. Over time, these seemingly small mental adjustments can produce remarkably different outcomes, proving that while our thoughts alone do not determine our future, they often determine the direction in which we begin to build it. Specialized knowledge, the value the market is willing to pay for. Many people spend more than a decade in school, earn impressive degrees, and yet continue to struggle financially. This does not mean that education is unimportant. Rather, it highlights a fundamental truth that many overlook. The marketplace does not reward how much you know, it rewards how effectively you use what you know to solve problems. A diploma may open a door, but it rarely determines how far you will go. Real value is measured not by certificates hanging on a wall, but by the results you are capable of producing. Consider a physician. Years of education are necessary before treating patients, but patients do not pay simply because the doctor graduated from medical school. They pay for accurate diagnoses, effective treatment, and improved health. The same principle applies to engineers, architects, software developers, accountants, and every other profession. Income is ultimately linked to competence, not credentials. The modern economy rewards people who continuously transform knowledge into practical value. Imagine two students who graduate with identical degrees in graphic design. The first student believes that graduation marks the end of learning. He finds a stable job, performs the same tasks every day, and gradually falls behind as technology evolves. The second student sees graduation as the beginning rather than the destination. She studies artificial intelligence, learns motion graphics, masters user interface design, explores video production, and practices every new skill on real projects. She builds a portfolio instead of merely collecting certificates. 3 years later, both individuals possess the same degree, yet their careers look entirely different. One struggles to remain competitive, while the other commands significantly higher fees, attracts better clients, and enjoys greater professional freedom. The difference lies not in intelligence, but in continuous growth. This pattern can be observed in nearly every profession. Take two sales representatives selling the exact same product. The first memorizes the product features and delivers the same presentation to every customer. When a customer says, "It's too expensive," he immediately offers a discount because he has no better solution. The second salesperson approaches the situation differently. She invests time studying consumer psychology, communication, negotiation, and objection handling. Instead of defending the price, she helps customers understand the long-term value of the product. She asks thoughtful questions, identifies real needs, and demonstrates how the product solves specific problems. Although both representatives work for the same company and sell the same product, one consistently outperforms the other. The difference is not luck. It is knowledge applied with skill. History repeatedly demonstrates that a single valuable skill can dramatically change a person's financial future. A programmer who learns artificial intelligence becomes more valuable than one who only writes traditional software. A photographer who masters storytelling and branding attracts clients willing to pay premium prices instead of competing on cost alone. A teacher who understands educational psychology, technology, and student engagement creates lessons that students genuinely enjoy, making both learning outcomes and career opportunities stronger. In every case, specialized knowledge creates specialized value. Another important lesson is that knowledge has an expiration date. A generation ago, learning one profession often meant practicing the same skills for an entire career. Today, industries evolve at remarkable speed. Technologies that seemed revolutionary only 5 years ago may already be outdated. Artificial intelligence, automation, and digital transformation continue to reshape nearly every profession. Those who stop learning eventually become less valuable, not because they are incapable, but because the world keeps moving while they remain still. Learning, therefore, should never be viewed as an event. It is a lifelong process. Some people read one book and believe they have mastered a subject. Others complete a training course and assume they have learned everything worth knowing. In reality, expertise is built through continuous refinement. Every project, every mistake, every conversation with a mentor, and every challenge encountered in the real world contributes another layer of understanding. Knowledge grows only when it is used. Imagine someone who reads dozens of books about investing but never purchases a single stock. Compare that person with another investor who begins with a small amount of money, studies every investment decision, learns from mistakes, and gradually improves over time. Who develops greater financial wisdom? The answer is obvious. Experience transforms information into understanding. This principle extends far beyond business. A person may read countless books about leadership, but true leadership develops only by leading people through uncertainty. Someone may memorize every rule of public speaking, yet confidence emerges only after standing in front of audiences repeatedly. Reading teaches principles. Practice creates mastery. Perhaps the greatest advantage of specialized knowledge is that it compounds over time. Every new skill strengthens previous ones. A marketing professional who learns data analysis becomes more effective. An engineer who improves communication skills becomes a stronger leader. A business owner who understands finance makes better strategic decisions. Each additional competency increases the value of all the others. This is why highly successful individuals rarely rely on a single expertise. Instead, they build a unique combination of complementary skills that becomes increasingly difficult to replace. Ultimately, wealth is not created by accumulating information. It is created by applying knowledge to solve meaningful problems for other people. The larger the problem you can solve, the greater the value you create. And the greater the value you create, the more the marketplace is willing to reward you. In a rapidly changing world, perhaps the most valuable skill of all is not what you already know, but your ability to keep learning faster than change itself. Imagination, where wealth begins. Many people believe that becoming wealthy requires inventing something the world has never seen before. While groundbreaking inventions certainly create fortunes, history tells a different story. Most successful businesses were not built by creating entirely new products. Instead, they were built by improving existing ideas, combining familiar concepts, or solving old problems in better ways. Innovation is rarely about creating from nothing. More often, it is about seeing what everyone else sees, but thinking differently. Uber did not invent the automobile. Netflix did not invent movies. Shopee did not invent buying and selling. Starbucks did not invent coffee. Apple did not invent the smartphone. Yet each of these companies transformed an existing product or service into something more convenient, more enjoyable, or more valuable. Their greatest asset was not the invention itself, but the ability to imagine a better experience for customers. This is the true power of imagination. Napoleon Hill described imagination as having two forms. The first is creative imagination, the ability to produce original ideas that have never existed before. The second is synthetic imagination, the ability to combine existing ideas into something new and useful. Contrary to popular belief, synthetic imagination is responsible for far more success in business. Most entrepreneurs are not inventors. They are problem solvers. Consider the smartphone you carry every day. It combines a telephone, a camera, a music player, a GPS navigator, a calculator, a notebook, a flashlight, a payment system, and a computer into a single device. None of these technologies were entirely new when smartphones appeared. Their revolutionary impact came from combining them into one seamless experience. That single act of integration changed the lives of billions of people. The same principle applies on a much smaller scale. Imagine an English teacher who once relied solely on a whiteboard and textbooks. Her lessons were informative, but many students struggled to stay engaged. Rather than changing the curriculum, she changed the learning experience. She introduced interactive PowerPoint presentations, educational games, AI-generated illustrations, animated videos, digital quizzes, and collaborative classroom activities. The subject matter remained exactly the same, yet students became more enthusiastic, participated more actively, and remembered lessons more effectively. She did not invent English. She reinvented the way English was taught. As her classes became more popular, word spread among parents and students, enrollment increased, and so did her income. Her wealth grew because she improved an experience that already existed. Now consider a small neighborhood coffee shop. Competing against large chains seems almost impossible. Lowering prices may attract customers temporarily, but it also reduces profit margins. Instead of starting a price war, the owner chooses another strategy. He creates a beautifully designed corner where customers enjoy taking photographs. He introduces seasonal drinks inspired by local culture. He remembers regular customers by name. He encourages visitors to share their experiences on social media. The coffee itself changes very little. The experience changes completely. Soon, customers are no longer paying only for a drink. They are paying for the atmosphere, the memories, and the feeling of belonging. Again, imagination creates value. Some of the world's greatest fortunes have emerged simply because someone noticed a problem that everyone else had accepted as normal. Before Airbnb, travelers assumed hotels were the only practical option. Before Spotify, purchasing individual songs seemed inevitable. Before online banking, people accepted long lines at physical branches as part of everyday life. Each innovation began with a simple question: why does it have to be this way? Every meaningful innovation starts with curiosity. Highly successful people often develop the habit of asking better questions. Instead of saying, "This process is difficult," they ask, "How could this process become simpler?" Instead of accepting, "Customers don't like this," they wonder, what experience are customers actually looking for? The quality of our questions often determines the quality of our ideas. Imagination also requires observation. Many people search desperately for brilliant ideas while overlooking opportunities hidden in ordinary life. A parent frustrated by preparing children's lunches every morning might create a meal preparation business. An office worker struggling to organize digital files might develop productivity software. A teacher noticing students' difficulty in remembering vocabulary might design a new learning method. Every inconvenience is a potential business opportunity viewed through the lens of imagination. This is why entrepreneurs are often described as people who see opportunities. In reality, opportunities exist for everyone. Entrepreneurs simply train themselves to notice problems that others ignore. Of course, imagination alone does not create wealth. A notebook filled with brilliant business ideas has little value unless those ideas are tested in the real world. Many people spend years waiting for the perfect idea before taking action. Ironically, the perfect idea rarely exists. Successful innovators begin with imperfect ideas, gather feedback, improve continuously, and allow reality to shape their vision. The first version of Amazon looked nothing like the global company it is today. Facebook began as a simple university network. YouTube was originally intended as a video dating website. Few great businesses begin perfectly. They evolve through experimentation. Imagination, therefore, should not be viewed as a mysterious talent reserved for artists or inventors. It is a skill that can be strengthened through curiosity, observation, and continuous learning. The more knowledge we acquire, the more connections our minds are able to make. The more experiences we collect, the more creative solutions we discover, and every book we read, every conversation we have, every failure we experience, and every challenge we overcome becomes raw material for future ideas. Ultimately, wealth rarely begins with money. It begins with an idea to solve a problem, an idea to improve an experience, an idea to create value where none previously existed. The people who consistently build wealth are not necessarily those with the highest intelligence. They are often the ones who refuse to stop asking, "How can this be done better?" And in that simple question lies the beginning of every great innovation.
Organized planning, turning ideas into results. Ideas are valuable. Execution is priceless. Every day, millions of people generate brilliant ideas. They dream of starting businesses, writing books, launching YouTube channels, learning new skills, or investing for the future. Yet only a small percentage ever transform those ideas into reality. The difference is rarely intelligence. More often, it is the presence or absence of a plan. An idea without action remains nothing more than imagination. A plan without action is merely paperwork. Only when ideas are translated into consistent action do they begin to create results. This is why Napoleon Hill emphasized organized planning as one of the essential principles of success. Success is rarely the result of a single breakthrough. Instead, it is usually the accumulation of hundreds of small, intentional actions carried out consistently over time. Many people fail because they confuse goals with plans. A goal answers the question, "Where do I want to go?" A plan answers, "How will I get there?" Imagine someone who says, "I want to open a coffee shop within 1 year." That is a goal. But without a clear roadmap, 12 months may pass with nothing more than wishful thinking. Now consider another entrepreneur with the same dream. Instead of focusing only on the destination, she breaks the journey into manageable steps. Month 1. Study the local market and identify customer preferences. Month 2. Research suppliers, compare costs, and build relationships. Month 3. Develop the brand identity, logo, and menu. Month 4. Test products through online sales or pop-up events. Month 5. Collect customer feedback and refine the menu. Month 6. Secure a location and prepare operations. Each completed step builds momentum for the next. Rather than feeling overwhelmed by a large ambition, she focuses only on today's task. Progress becomes measurable. Confidence grows naturally. This principle applies far beyond business. Suppose someone wants to become physically healthier. Many people simply say, "I want to lose 20 kilograms." While inspiring, the statement offers no guidance. A structured plan transforms that vague desire into daily behavior. Walk 30 minutes every morning. Reduce sugary drinks. Prepare healthy meals every Sunday. Track weight every week. Sleep at least 7 hours each night. The goal remains the same, but the path becomes visible. People often overestimate what they can accomplish in 1 month, while underestimating what they can achieve in 5 years through consistent action. Small improvements, repeated daily, produce extraordinary outcomes. 1 page read every day becomes 12 books in a year. Saving just $10 each day becomes thousands over time. Practicing a language for 20 minutes daily eventually leads to fluency. Great achievements are usually hidden inside ordinary routines. Planning also reduces emotional decision-making. Without a plan, people act according to motivation. When motivation disappears, so does progress. With a plan, action becomes a habit rather than a feeling. Professional athletes do not train only when they feel inspired. Pilots do not rely on memory before takeoff. Surgeons do not improvise during operations. They follow systems. Success leaves patterns. One of the greatest misconceptions about planning is the belief that plans must be perfect before action begins. In reality, perfection is often the enemy of progress. Thomas Edison conducted thousands of experiments before developing a commercially successful light bulb. He reportedly viewed each unsuccessful attempt not as failure, but as another method that simply did not work. Every experiment produced valuable information. Every mistake narrowed the path toward success. Business works the same way. Imagine launching an online store. Your first advertisement receives almost no sales. Many people immediately conclude, the business doesn't work. Successful entrepreneurs ask different questions. Was the target audience correct? Was the message compelling enough? Did the product solve an important problem? Was the website easy to use? Failure becomes data. Data becomes improvement. Improvement creates success. Companies like Amazon, Netflix, and Airbnb did not become global leaders because their first ideas were flawless. Their advantage came from continuously testing, measuring, learning, and adapting faster than competitors. Planning should therefore be viewed as a living system rather than a fixed document. Markets change. Technology evolves. Customer preferences shift. New competitors emerge. A rigid plan eventually becomes obsolete. A flexible plan grows stronger through adaptation. This principle is equally valuable in personal life. Imagine two university graduates beginning their careers. The first believes success depends entirely on finding the perfect job. The second develops a 5-year growth plan. Each year, he commits to learning one valuable skill: improving communication, studying leadership, understanding finance, mastering technology, expanding professional relationships. 5 years later, his career looks dramatically different, not because he worked harder every day, but because every year built intentionally upon the previous one. His progress was designed rather than accidental. Perhaps the most overlooked aspect of planning is measurement. Anything that is not measured is difficult to improve. Businesses monitor revenue, expenses, and customer satisfaction. Athletes track performance. Investors review returns. Students evaluate grades. Measurement provides feedback. Feedback guides better decisions. Without measurement, improvement becomes guesswork. Finally, every successful plan requires one more ingredient: the willingness to begin before feeling completely ready. Many people postpone action because they believe they need more knowledge, more money, or more confidence. Ironically, confidence is often the result of action, not its prerequisite. The first video on YouTube may feel awkward. The first sales presentation may be uncomfortable. The first business may fail. The first investment may not perform well. None of these experiences represent the end of the journey. They are simply the beginning of learning. Those who succeed understand that clarity rarely comes before action. It emerges because of action. Ultimately, organized planning is not about predicting every step of the future. It is about creating a direction, taking consistent action, learning from feedback, and improving continuously. Ideas inspire. Knowledge prepares. Imagination creates possibilities. But planning transforms possibility into reality. And when disciplined execution is repeated day after day, ordinary people become capable of producing extraordinary results. Conclusion: the 4 pillars of lasting success. Taken together, These 4 principles form a complete framework for personal and financial growth. Autosuggestion gives your mind a clear direction. Specialized knowledge equips you with the ability to create value. Imagination helps you discover opportunities where others see only obstacles. Organized planning transforms ideas into measurable results. Each principle strengthens the others. A goal without knowledge is merely a wish. Knowledge without imagination limits innovation. Imagination without planning remains fantasy. Planning without consistent action achieves nothing. Success, therefore, is not a single event or a stroke of luck. It is the natural outcome of aligning your thoughts, expanding your abilities, creating meaningful value, and acting with discipline over an extended period of time. The people who build extraordinary lives are not always the smartest or the most talented. More often, they are the ones who learn continuously, think creatively, plan deliberately, and refuse to stop moving forward. Wealth begins in the mind, grows through knowledge, expands through imagination, and becomes reality through disciplined action. That is the path followed by those who create lasting success, not only in business, but in every meaningful area of life.